I'm often struck by the idea that some people will tell you stuff that's somewhat surprisingly personal when you don't really know them at all. Although I suppose it could be argued that telling someone who you see as a complete stranger something might feel a little bit more or less intimate because you think the person doesn't know you. There's nothing invested. And I remember once when I was a student, I got the train home, and I ended up, on those seats. We got 4 seats around a table, and it's just me and this other guy. And between Reading and Swindon, I had a whole load of stuff about his job and his unsympathetic boss and his divorce and the problems of selling the house. And I just thought at the time, hopefully I performed a bit of a service there, but he was telling me, a complete stranger, but maybe that idea that we were just going our separate ways and we'd never see each other again is part of why we might do that. Personally, I never assume that anyone is going to be interested in what I think or the stuff that I do. Certainly not complete strangers. Who would want to know about someone who generally loses their car keys, does things like goes shopping, can't then read what they've written on their own list, messes up simple recipes like not reading the process carefully, forgets to put the bins out. See, none of it is very shows me in a particularly good light. And personally, I like to keep a bit of mystery about myself. But I was on a family holiday recently in Devon, and it was one of those activity centres. And one afternoon we decided, or not all of us, some of us wanted to play indoor curling. So, the sort of thing, you go to a big hall, and this was to be done in pairs. And I won't go into this, but I ended up, I volunteered to be the odd person from our group, and then I was paired up with this woman who's also odd. She was there with her son. But what was remarkable in the sort of the downtime before we got started, obviously I was just sort of standing with her, but almost within a moment, I knew that her husband wasn't there. He was with the daughter. They were in Miami. She told me that the husband wasn't very good with the daughter. I don't know quite what that means. And I'm thinking, God, Miami, in August, crowded, humid, so hot. That's not the place to be at all, is it? Anyway, so we get the games getting started, and there's a few, gaps of time. And I look across the other side of the hall, and I notice my wife is there talking with a woman in a very animated way. And suddenly it crossed my mind. I thought, is she regaling her stories of lost keys, shopping list not read, dirty clothes on the bedroom floor? And suddenly for a moment, the prospect of being in Miami, despite the heat, despite the humidity, despite the fact it was so crowded, actually seemed quite appealing.